Good day, people. Today we're going to do a bit of study using references from tutorials I've seen. We're also going to talk about my observation of the simple structure of the chest, and we're also going to apply that simple structure to real life poses and references. And then we're also going to take what we've learned and then draw with real life references as well. So we're immediately going to start with the basics of the chest. The chest muscle or pectoralis is divided into three heads. We have the upper chest, which goes from our clavicle down to our humerus, which stretches down to our humerus, the humerus bone. And then we have the middle head, or the sternocostal head. It's called the sternocostal head because it's coming out from the sternum, and it's going to the humerus. It's going to the humerus. And the last part of this muscle is the lower chest or the abdominal head, according to most people. So this is the basic structure of the chest. And with these simple three shapes, what you can now do now is that I forgot to add this. This goes from down here to up here like this, and this one goes from up here to down here like this. And once we have these basics, what you can then do now is you can then practice this simple structure over and over again. So whenever I study, what I do is that once I've done a breakdown like this, I then draw it out, right? So from something like this now, rather than drawing the entire skeleton, I'm just going to draw the shape that makes up that skeleton, which is going to be like an egg shape, an egg or ovoid or oval shape, right? I have this as my main shape, and then I'm going to draw my sternum, because my clavicle, because these are the shapes that make up the chest. They are very important for the chest. And then I'm going to get our sternum. Then I'm going to get my arm over here. The first muscle, the first head rather, goes from this top over here down to this area over here. The second one, the second head, attaches to the sternum like this, and is the largest and biggest head. And then the last one, the abdominal portion, attaches like this. And with this, we have our basic structure. And so we're going to try and look at this from another angle as well. So we'll have our clavicular head here coming from our clavicle. It's called the clavicular head because it's coming from the clavicle or our collarbone. Next, we'll have our sternocostal head or our middle chest. We'll have the abdominal head or bottom chest or lower chest. We'll have an oval shape like this. Come down to start our upper chest, come down to our humerus, then our middle chest, and then our lower chest. And with that, we've done a very rough sketch of the basic structure of the chest. And so the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to try and apply this basic structure into real references and then try and copy that. So I have these three references here, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take what I've done here and try and apply this here, so that I'll just sort of get familiar with how it looks around a real body, basically. So this is our clavicle is around here, so the muscle is going to come from this side. The clavicular head is going to come from this side down here. As you can see in the reference in the work I did, it did come to this area like this, but over here it is covered. A part of that upper chest is being covered by the deltoid muscle. That is the front deltoid and the side deltoid muscle, and a bit of the rear delt muscle. So that is something to take into consideration when doing this thing. That is why it's good to, kind of look at it in real life to see how it works. So it's going to come from here all the way down here like this, and then it's going to go back up like this. Same thing with this. It's going to come, we're not going to see the rest of it. And then the middle chest is going to come, that is the sternocostal head, is going to come like this. It should be a bit deeper like this. And then from this area too, it's going to come from here like this. And then lastly, the abdominal head or the lower chest, it's going to come like this. Front view, we have our sternum here, our clavicle here, and the front delt is going to come from here like this. And then the middle chest is going to be like this. And then the lower chest is going to be like this. And of course, if we look at it in a skeletal, from a skeletal view, it's going to pop up. It's going to pop up like this, while this other one is going to come down like this, creating a sort of bow tie or twist. But it's important to note that when it's stretched, this twist turns into like a normal, arm. Like the twist changes, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, and I'm going to show you an example of that. Up like this and sort of fuse a lot more with our middle chest. And with this exercise, we've practically figured out how to apply those chest shapes on a real chest, and then it's then left for us to kind of follow this and then use this to sort of do our own sketch around this foundation. So of course, we'll start with our oval. You could start with an oval shape, or you could use a box shape depending on what you prefer. It is good to have a center line when you're walking to represent the sternum or the chest bone, so that we can sort of see what we're working with, the clavicle and the sternum, to kind of help with the placement of the muscle and perspective in general. When we're looking at the when our deltoid muscle is over here, and then we're seeing our pecs over here sort of interacting, there's this deep, and that is called the deltopectoral groove. Is this deep over here? You see it with lean people, and people that are really muscular, where their upper chest and their frontal delts, where they are causing a rise around this area, and then there's a sort of deep well at this area. It's because of the muscles of the shoulders and the chest. Remember, put your clavicle, this T shape, and your sternum, the line for your sternum and clavicle. It's going to help you with positioning the chest. and these are deltoid pectoral groove we talked about over here. We're dealing with our T, but in this case it's a bit curved because of the positioning, and then the center. And with that, we've actually done a pretty simplified breakdown of the pectoralis major, the muscle of the chest. And so what you can do now from here is that with this, basic understanding, you can then begin applying this knowledge you have to, different poses of the chest. And we'll just do some quick ones over here. So what I really want, what I really try to observe is that the separation in the sternum of each chest, it can be different, and this is based on genetics, but essentially we could have our clavicle here. Our clavicle is here. This is our clavicle, but the chest muscle, that upper chest particularly, starts from around here like this, and then the middle chest comes like this, and then the bottom chest, something like this. So it's something you can try to observe, and you get better. But understanding that structure has already helped me. That study I did, where I saw the sort of like the muscles. Another thing to restate is that the deltoids, they sit on top of the chest like this. They sit on top of it. That's why when I was showing you the skeleton and the muscle, and then we had our humerus muscle, our humerus bone over here, and there was like this twisting, like a fan of our muscles, and something like this was happening here. It was visible, but that wouldn't be visible because obviously the deltoid is covering that part that is meant to be visible like this. So that is something interesting to take note of. where we started with the base, right, with this skeletal structure, and basic we got the basic shapes that made up the chest, and then we drew it. Like drawing it is actually important. It is part of the quote unquote study, right? You get references like this. I got this one from Proco. You get references like this, and then you break down the shapes on top of those references to like actually understand it yourself. Like you trace over them, and then you draw them yourself, and then you take those shapes and then apply them to real life poses, right? Those shapes, and apply them to real life poses, and then you draw, that reference and that shape itself, so that it sticks to your brain. And then finally you do a study of actual poses, like real life poses, but with those shapes at the back of your head, and then maybe you could then add the indication of where those shapes are. Simple as that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and it added a bit more knowledge to you. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave it down in the comment section. Please give the video a like and subscribe. Thank you all for 1,500 subscribers. Where our next goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers. So please, if you've not subscribed, please click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.